Okay, and let's get started. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, hi everybody. Obviously you know me, so I will not go much into introductions. I'm super excited to be back to deliver sessions online. We used to do it in person, but we're back again online. So this session we're talking more about the EMR developmental plan as a concept and how can you prepare the plan that we're asking you to do it and align it with whether you have an annual working plan or a strategic plan and so on. So I didn't know the basics of or the amount of experience that you guys have. So you'll see that there are some basic knowledge here and there are some knowledge that's a little bit on the intermediate level. So depending on how you interact with me, I will switch up a little bit the level or the pace. If you are good and if you already know planning and you have already practiced and had the opportunity to do your own plans before, then this will go very smoothly. But if you, for the first time, want to go back to basics, sometimes it's important to go back to basics. You need to understand how the planning cycle goes and to make sure you don't miss a certain point or miss a certain process that should have been done. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna start. Usually with starting, I do some housekeeping remarks. I tell you to show your pretty faces, but we're EMR, so I don't expect you to open the camera all the time. I know it's difficult. Try to stay muted since we're also recording. And whenever I ask you a question, try to engage actively. Feel free to use the chat and also feel free to unmute yourself whatever time. احنا mini group is sort of a discussion. Yes, I did give the strategic planning session.
I attend.
Perfect. You see some
Now,
elements.
while you were talking, yeah, the sound and the words they started resonating.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I remember.
It's good to know that I still
Yeah.
have it. Perfect. Type. You have that. And another fun thing that I usually like to do is that to get to know you better. So if you can change your last name within your Zoom, if you're able to rename yourself to something that you're usually known for. We're 4 people here, so we can change our names quite easily كده, an icebreaker as we start, to something that we are known for. And I'm famously EMR, obviously. Apparently, I can rename myself, yeah. So for me, I'm Arwa workaholic. I'm pretty much known for that. Okay, some people change already their names. Okay. Habib is Haboob. Okay. Habib Haboob. You're cute. Okay. What about Basil, Ilyas, Rasha? If you can change your name really quickly. And also Ahmad. Is that Ahmad? Is that the Ahmad I know? Hi, Ahmad.
That's the Ahmad of Scori IT. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Long time no see. So I don't see anybody changing the name, but try to do it as we move into the session. It will be nice. And I usually try to introduce something is like, all the cameras are closed right now. So we're going to play a game to make sure that you guys are Basil is thinking, okay, think quickly. And then when you're ready, let me know so you can tell us why you have this name. So whenever you hear the term podcast mode, we ask you to close your cameras. But obviously everybody here is already closing their cameras, so we can't do it like that. So we'll do the opposite thing. Whenever you hear me call camera mode, you're going to open up your cameras so to be able to see you, and it will be very quickly. And the last one to open up their cameras, they will have a certain punishment. I don't know what punishment we can do online, but we can think together of something to ask them to do. So this is an activity we're gonna play kida, so keep an eye out to see if you're focused or not. Whenever I say camera mode, you turn on the camera and we see who is the winner. So did we have anybody else change their name? That was the job. Where is the participant? Oh, here's the participant. Okay, Ilyas is sleep deprived. Ahmad, okay, a lot of sleep. Russia is coffee. Wow. So we're moving around the same theme, which is sleep deprivation and coffee. Okay. I hope you both, Ahmad and Ilyas, have a chance to get a good night rest. And Basil, you're still thinking? I feel like I'm pressuring you too much.
Yeah, I'm still thinking. Yeah, let's put overthinker here. Okay, I guess it's a good description for now.
Habib, this reminds me of someone.
Taking me back, Lisa.
exactly the same thing. We did this activity as a regional team before, and like we had one person who was thinking a lot, and they usually are indecisive. They can't make the decision easily. So we're like, خلاص, you are indecisive. This is what we're knowing you for. So خلاص, the thing you're overthinker. Perfect. طيب, let us start كده على طول. So I usually like to start with this quote, which is failing to plan is planning to fail. And that is something very, very important. And perhaps when you join IFMSA as a volunteer, or whenever early on in IFMSA, you're still exploring the word of IFMSA, you would also hear this word a lot. And then you would discover how IFMSA is a sort of sophisticated professional in the sense that everything that we do relies on a plan. So without this particular plan, without getting input on the plan that we want to do or the direction that we want to go through, we basically put our first stepstones into achieving that plan. But whenever we don't plan anything, we're basically setting ourselves for failure, whether it was a project, an activity, whether it was an initiative, whether it was whatever it is that you're planning for, a trip. Even if you're planning for a trip, if you don't have the proper stepstone, if you don't have an idea where you want to go, how are you going to do that, who is going to help you, who is going to give you finances for that particular trip, then this trip will never happen. So you're planning for this trip to fail altogether. So the idea here is to teach you the art of planning, how to properly plan anything in life. And then when you get this core knowledge, you can apply it later on in any plan that you want to do. This can be applied to strategic plan, which is usually the biggest concept or umbrella of plans ever. It encompasses a whole organizational level. And then you can also apply that to your annual working plan in your specific field. For example, I do believe that within your standing committee as an official, you had your annual working plan, and it dictates all the plans and all the activities that you want to do throughout the whole year or the whole term. And you can also do that within your daily planning to day-to-day life, and then introduce you the new concept of developmental planning and so on. So that is also very important. Do you have something in the chat? Okay, perfect. Don't worry, Elias. I noted. Thank you so much for telling me. And of course, your safety is a must. So take care of yourself. Okay, so what is planning? So back to the basics. Planning is the process of documenting and establishing a direction. So you document the process and then you establish where you want to go. And in order for us to know where we want to go, we have to first assess where we are at the moment and also know where we want to go or where the direction is taking us. So I think you already had this thought process because you're already 4 months into your term together, and you've already established where you want to take the standing committee. And this is where the RA is coming to help you. You know where you want to go, but you also identified that there are some challenges that you will meet along the way as you go to that certain direction, whether it was the direction to make SCORI the best standing committee in your whole NMO, for example, to activate SCORI, whether the goal was to bring in more research project, what is the core to introduce a new initiative, whatever direction or goal you have in mind, you need to understand what challenges are you going to face through that, and know that the regional team is there to help you tackle those particular challenges. So let us go. So this is a simple exercise to know what you guys know about the components generally of a plan. And perhaps there is a cheat remark. If you already saw the developmental plan concept, you would already be aware of what usually do we add in the plan, or the main components that without them we wouldn't even have a plan. So maybe you can use the chat and maybe we can brainstorm together. In your mind, what makes up a plan? What should be included in the plan? Let me check the chat. Okay. Paul, overthinker is thinking pillars. Okay, aside from pillars, overthinker Paul, try to narrow it down a little bit. Okay, goals. Okay, it's going from up, down. Perfect. And then objectives. Ahmed is saying vision, so we're bringing broader up again. Rasha is saying struggles. Perhaps struggle necessarily is not included in the component of the plan, but it is used to analyze what action will you take to overcome these struggles. So it is part of the process in the creation of the plan, but not necessarily written as a component. but it is important when you try to visualize and draft a plan. So I completely agree. Indicators of success. Thank you, overthinker. And coffee, second plan. Okay. A second plan also is to some extent part of the plan, and we call it a contingency plan. But yes, I wouldn't call it again a key component. Try to think a little bit deeper into like the things of the plan, but it is also part of the process where you plan ahead in time. Perfect. I really like the things that we're saying. We almost have everything noted down. So as you all mentioned, we do have a vision and a mission. And as you can see here by the simple figure or like illustration, the vision is where you want to go. The mission is how will you go there. So the idea here, the vision is that you have the flag, and then the flag is something upstairs, which is the vision. It's at the top of the vision. In order for you to go to that flag or to get the flag, you have to climb the mountain basically. And this is the whole idea of a mission. What do you do to achieve or to reach out to that flag, which is your vision? And from that concept or idea, you start to create your goal. The goal is really connected to the bigger picture, and it is the largest element or the bigger idealistic and the bigger concept and umbrella for everything that you want to work on. And from that goal, you start to have many SMART objectives. And we were going to define what is an objective later on. And under an objective, you do have action points, you do have success indicators, and then any plan needs to have follow-up and evaluation, which needs something that lets you know if actually the plan worked or not. So these are the key components of any plan. Thank you, Paul. Okay.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And this is mainly the idea behind a plan or the key components of the plan. Right. Now that we covered these particular elements, let's start with the first idea, which is a key component of the plan, which is a SMART objective. So what is an objective? So an objective is that you have a state or something that you intend to achieve. That something could be, for example, you want to create a capacity building event. You want to increase members' knowledge on particular research topics. You want to increase their engagement in activities, the opportunities that you offer. So this is a desired outcome, a change in knowledge, in attitude, in practice, in engagement level, anything that is measurable per se. And in order for you to do that, you start by understanding how can you write it down as an objective. So the desired state, which is like an increase in knowledge, for example, or change knowledge state, is your objective. How do we reach that? We do that by either drafting down smaller action points and keeping in mind that the main objective need to be specific and also to align with the bigger goal. Whether the goal was, for example, to make sure that by the end of this particular year, your standing committee or SCORI, for example, will have capacitated members that have knowledge about all SCORI related topics. And under that, your objective would be is to increase their knowledge on, for example, I suck a lot on the research topics, by the way. I'm not very SCORI oriented to the topics that you have. But for example, let's say to increase their knowledge about the activation process of SCORI, increase their knowledge about SCORI exchanges in general, and so on. So this is the idea behind objectives. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the term SMART, and as this simply mentions, any objectives have to follow the idea of being SMART. You will have noticed that I just haphazardly mentioned that you want to increase something, and that is to some extent measurable because I measure the knowledge, I measure the amount of engagement, I measure the amount of changes in attitude, in practices, something you want to change. And that's something that you want to change has to be measurable to some extent. Measurable could be a quantitative process or a qualitative process. It could mean that you can add numbers that you want to increase the knowledge of 50 members. It could mean that you want to increase the knowledge by a scale of 0.5. This is adding numbers. It could be qualitative in the sense, for example, a qualitative element would be is that you want to change, what can I say? Trying to think of an example. Can't think of one right now, but it doesn't have to be with a numerical value, but it has to be related to